Hey, Mega Moms, Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And Stephanie and I are here today to talk about summer and how are we navigating our summer break with our kiddos and with work and real estate and all of the changes going on right now in real estate. How are we handling it? And hey, mom to mom, are you okay? Let us know. Comment below. Hey, Steph.
I love it. Mom to mom, are you okay?
Are you
Comment below.
Well, we get it. If you're not, it's obviously we all love spending time with our kids. They're our hearts, they're our whys. But we get into this routine and schedule with school, and I get used to, okay, he's at school, he's learning, he's safe, all is good there. And then I come here and I can focus on work. And I will say Henry's a little older now. So, you moms that have little babies, I know this is tough as well, probably year round, not just in the summer, but he's able to entertain himself for the most part. So we're still trying to have a pretty good schedule, but I don't want him to just be glued to a TV all day either. So, Steph, what is the plan this summer with the kids to keep him entertained, excited, fed, healthy, and maintain our real estate business?
Oh my goodness gracious. So Macon's 13. He just turned 13. And it's that weird time in his life where he doesn't go to daycare, but Macon can't be trusted by himself completely. He just flat out can't. And I don't want him to sit in front of a TV all day long and video games and that kind of thing. He gets himself into all kinds of troubles. And unfortunately, when he gets into trouble, he is grounded and then he's stuck at home he's just sitting there. And so when he's sitting there, our office is at home. And so he's in the office, office is home. And so he's just sitting there. And so, I want him to do crafts and projects, and he is in baseball. He's in some strength training classes that are coming up. He's got church camp coming up. He does sleep in, which is, at first I'm kind of you don't need to sleep in till noon, but it's kind of nice. It's well, I have, almost till noon, to get all the things done. But yeah, so I mean, summer is kind of a tough time if you work from your home. So if you can't send your kid to daycare. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're both in that in between phase. Henry's 12, so too young to just be totally at home or to have a summer job, and too old for a babysitter. So yeah, he comes to work with me, and he has really every summer, pretty much every age he has. Maybe when he was little bitty, 5 or 6 and under, he might have gone to a daycare. But for the most part, he's with me, and I'm sad to say, maybe I should say, I'm not ashamed to say, he has electronics. He has his iPad. So I kind of look at it it's something that he can entertain. I try to give him something like a project to work on or something to be a creative outlet. And then I also try to be intentional about not being here every day or, having scheduled breaks. This year we just started, so we really haven't got into the swing of it. But last year and years past, he would actually look at my calendar and we would schedule, okay, during this time block, we're going to go to the park. And during this time block, we're going to do this, and we're going to have lunch together here. And we kind of started looking at my calendar during COVID, whenever he was home during the school year too. And I just had to show him listen, this is what I'm doing, and I have to be on these calls, but whenever I'm done with this call, I'll come out and you can talk to me and we can, catch up or whatever, do what we need to do. So that has helped a lot. But I can't imagine being in town. We're in the country, so he does have that outlet to just go and roam around and feel safe for him to do that. And I mean, you guys don't even have that Does he go out in the backyard and play
Oh,
like in the
yeah.
backyard? Yeah.
And he rides his bike like in the neighborhood and that kind of thing, which when he has his phone, I can see like where he goes. And I mean, he can ride around this little area, and that's really nice. But physically, like I know that, like you said, Henry can ask you to go like certain places. Unfortunately, I think like the last probably year and a half or so, like I can't just jump up and like drive places and stuff. It really kind of depends on my health and if I'm able to like drive and all that kind of stuff. So, sometimes I think a little bit of his attitude is like, mom can't get up and just go. So, I think like trying to keep a kid busy, like, I don't know about you moms, but like trying to keep a kid busy, like when you're, you know, doing your thing is a tough thing. Trying to keep them in their activities and all that kind of stuff during the summer is tough.
One of our students, Valeria, she is putting her kid to work, like in her real estate business. And I thought it was really smart. What she told us that she's going to have her, I think he's 10. I want to say she said he was 10. And she is showing him like through like a Loom video that he can rewatch. She's showing him how to print off MLS sheets for her clients. I think maybe schedule showings. I'm not sure. Like even just little things like that. I know
That's
in
amazing.
the MLS. Yeah, she has certain things she prints, I want to say, for her showings, like packets. And so she just shows them, okay, this is where you do this and this is how you assemble the package. And so, that's pretty cool if your kiddo's interested and can be focused. I do think we all kind of respond to having projects, right? And having a purpose. So don't be afraid to get your kids involved in your business and do it with them.
Yeah, I remember when Atlanta was a kiddo, she helped me get together pot buys and loved it. And that's a brilliant idea, to maybe get making involved in that. That's a wonderful idea. And I can't wait until, here in South Dakota, our kids can go to work when they're 14. I think that you mentioned like farmers are a little bit different. Maybe they can go to work earlier, but Megan's excited to go to work. So I'm like, when you're 14, kid, I'm dropping you off. You're going to work.
I think it's probably 14 as well. I know he for sure can get his permit at 14, like farmer's permit. And I have a seller that she's a vet, and so she's just for small animals, so she doesn't travel around to farms or on location. Um, but she said he could come shadow her, and just I'm not going to do that often. It'll probably just be like maybe one day a week or one afternoon a week. But he wants to be a vet, so I figured, why not let him see what that world is like as much as we can expose him to it and try to cater to his interest. Does make it and moms that are watching, do your kids get interested in a subject and like just go down a rabbit hole and get really excited about that subject for a few weeks at a time? Does Macon do that?
Yeah, he does. And honestly, that's kind of nice because then you can kind of like have him research it, and like he likes to craft, so he'll like draw about it and like, that kind of thing. So that's kind of nice. So if you can like give him like a project, maybe a project a week to something interesting, especially if he can research it outside, like maybe like a animal or something like that. We don't have a lot of animals here. I
Henry
guess.
got into gardening.
Oh,
He's been doing a lot of research on gardening. We started following this lady. I think our channel's name is Anna of All Trades, and she's the lazy gardener. So her whole concept, I think it's like Eden gardening is another term for this, but they show you how to set up your garden where you don't have to weed and you don't have to water. I know it sounds really interesting.
the
And
lazy,
so, huh?
the lazy gardener.
The lazy gardener. See, that's your kind of gardening too, right? That's the kind of gardening that I have time for. So it takes a little bit of work in the beginning to get it all set up, and we don't have ours going yet. But anyway, I mean, she spends time doing other things because you have to have like really good soil and mulch. And anyway, that this podcast is not about gardening, but the point there is we started watching that channel, and he was in the other room like all day. He probably watched 6 or 8 hours of her of her videos. I'm like, you know what? That's better than, watching a regular show. So I'm totally fine with that. And he got inspired to start our garden. But so that's talking about the kids. Let's kind of shift gears. What are we doing? How are we staying on track with our businesses? So what are you doing, Steph?
Well, I think the biggest thing is taking advantage, especially like, when the kids were younger, is to kind of like batch work in the summer. I just remember, like, especially when Macon was a baby, if you have the kids at home and you don't have daycare, because like I'm like you, Jessica, when Macon was a baby, it was on and off daycare, but I remember especially when he was a little, like I brought him everywhere with me, and when nap time came around and I had like a couple hours, I would do a ton of batch work. I would just powerhouse, like get a ton done. Um, Lists were important to me, like prioritization. And we hear a lot on this show, like with moms, like, when they're at napping, getting through just like a ton and then going to play for a little bit and then coming back when the husband comes home from work, maybe they have a couple more hours. So I think it really just kind of boils down to just not laying the business to the side for the summer. If you're in business, you still need to be in business. So even though the kids are home, just trying to find those pockets of time where you can still focus.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And really I want to echo exactly what you're saying, because I don't think that there's a way to stay up with your real estate business if you don't have some sort of a system that you're willing to follow. And that can be just as simple as, okay, on this day of the week, I'm going to do this. I live and die by my calendar. Everyone knows that. If it's not on my calendar, it is definitely going to miss my radar. I'm going to forget to do it. I have to refer to my calendar all the time. I have way too many things going on. Even personal things go on there. And so that's why I said, taking Henry to the park or having a special day with him during the summer, that has to go on my calendar. Otherwise, it'll get full with appointments and things like that. So that's definitely my hack. And I think another thing is allow yourself a different schedule, maybe a different rhythm in the summer, and just know, all right, during the school year, I can maybe Valeria, who again, I'm going to mention her, she's in our coaching group. She did 200 attempts or 200 calls this week. And yeah. Yes, we are so proud of her, and it resulted in appointments. And that's the point. If you don't have appointments, if you don't have business, you need to be trying to reach people. You have to make connections with people. And so when you're doing your annual planning, maybe schedule out, okay, I know my kids are in school. I have this extra time that I may not normally have during these months. So these months, I'm going to be doubling my efforts on my attempts and my phone calls and my messages. And I'm going to book out, my appointments and so on and so forth. And then in the summer, I'm going to allow myself maybe half of that time. And I'm going to allow myself to take some time with my kids, enjoy it, because you only have, I only have 7 more summers with him, and really not even that, because if he's working, we're not going to have the flexibility when he starts working. So I try to remind myself, like, it's okay to lose a deal. And I say that knowing that some moms that are listening just want to get their next deal. Like, they don't have anything in the pipeline. So if you're doing this as your full-time job in real estate, definitely fill your pipeline, but know that your kids come first. And that's kind of what the whole point of Real Estate Mega Moms is about. No commission's worth missing out on time with your kids.
I love that you mentioned rhythms. That planner that I work with every year that I kind of go through my planning, it's Cultivate What Matters Most, Power Sheet Goal Planner. They talk about a rhythm, like I think it's a quarterly rhythm that they have you work through for your schedule. And I love that. Actually, I do like 3, like one for the beginning of the year, one for the summer, and then one for the end of the year. And the summer is like, it's totally different than the beginning and the end. Because it just is. I mean, you've got summer vacations, you've got, like I just mentioned, we've got summer baseball for Macon, we've got his church camp. We've got, and there's just a lot of just different variables. And there's just no way that your schedule will be the same. And I think if you put pressure on yourself to have it be the same, you just might fail yourself, you know? So I think it's important just to kind of look at it as seasons of life. You know, one year might even be different than the other year. So grade school for your kids might be different than high school, or your preschool might be, that'll look way different than kids when they're in high school. So you kind of have to look at it as life is going to be evolving, and your schedule will evolve. And so the rhythm of your schedule will also revolve.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you heard of how just like monthly, even we as women need to be mindful of, giving ourselves time to rest and not feel like we have to be performing at a level 10 every day. So, I mean, basically that's the whole adrenal fatigue, and a lot of us have autoimmune diseases. And again, this another topic this podcast isn't really about is your health, but at the same time, if we're not going to take care of our bodies, you're not going to be able to perform in real estate, at a high level. You're gonna burn out. So I think protecting your mental health, your physical health, allowing yourself to rest, not as an excuse to be lazy, but as a reason to recoup and like refuel your body so that you can show up as the best version of yourself for your clients, for your family, for yourself. So I've been trying to follow that. So what I mean is, if I have a really heavy week, or maybe a couple weeks that I'm doing a lot of appointments, I have, back-to-back meetings, I will schedule in intentional breaks for myself the following week. And I'm also trying to be really kind to myself. I just started this food program. I'm really loving it so far. It's basically, it's just all healthy foods. They send you they say you're going to eat the rainbow. And anyway, but it's like salads and different things like that. But just, if you don't have time to meal prep and take care of your food and, make sure you're eating good rather than just going out, invest in something like that where you don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? So those are just little things that could help.
Yeah. And I think that's really important during the summer when it is really busy, when you have the kids home, and you think that summer means you can kind of relax more, but I don't see people relaxing more, especially moms. I see moms more busy because they're busier with their kids. They're still trying to keep up with their lives, with their work schedules. I see moms more stressed out, really.
And like baseball and travel ball and all the sports, and absolutely trying to keep up with everything. So Henry and I went through a list this morning. He was like, we used to give him an allowance, and we've kind of got away from that because we started contributing to a 401k or a Roth IRA for him. And he sold a cow. Well, I guess it was a calf 2 or 3 weeks ago. And he used that money to buy goats, and anyway, just a whole thing. But so he's keeping track of his money in his bank account. And I'm so excited because I told him, I want you to have a really good, healthy relationship with money. I want you to understand money. I want you to appreciate, when you're spending money, what that means, how that affects you. So it was so cute. I took him down to the bank. We walked down there. He deposited his money. He's like, I would like to get a debit card. And I said, you know what? Okay, that's fine. Let's do it. So got him a debit card, and he has a checkbook and a check register. And I told him, okay, every time you spend any money, you have to write it down, subtract. And I'm like, we're going to test your math skills. What did you buy? And he's like excited whenever it matches to the penny of what it says on my banking app. But anyway, that all brought about this conversation of, I would like an allowance. How can I earn money? Because I see what I have in there. I'd like to I see that number grow every week. So I said, okay, great. I will be happy to pay you. So we made, me, Steph, me and Henry made a little contract between the two of us.
Love it. Love it.
And so I gave him, here's everything that mom and dad will do for you. We'll pay you this much per week and this much towards your 401k, or sorry, your IRA, his Roth IRA, because he likes to see that account too. And then we're going to take care of these expenses for you. Just, and I went ahead and put like everything with his animals. So we buy the feed and all of that. We'll buy his clothes, pay for his school, and pay for his food. So I wanted to, not trying to be crazy, but I wanted to show him like, okay, here's what we're doing, right? And then here's what I expect you to do. So Henry's expectations. And so put down his weekly chores. And anyway, I think it was really good. He read through it and he's
I want to see this. This is great.
It was pretty cute. I should have him sign it to make it official, but he read through it this morning and he's like, okay, this is all stuff I already do, so I'm good with this. I think the only thing that wasn't on his list, I've always made his food for him. And I said, you know what, you're 12 and you can help me grocery shop, but I think you can handle a microwave now. And, either you're going to make it with something that's prepared for you, like ready to go, or you're going to help me with dinner. And he's like, yep, that sounds good. So
good for you, Jess. This is wonderful. You're teaching him amazing life skills.
He was kind of resistant. He's like, you're the mom. You're supposed to make me every meal. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. I have no problem with making food, and I will. But you're 12, and I want you to be able to, you can handle these little things. I promise you. So he was a little resistant at first. But then I showed him all the benefits, and he's like, okay, all right, we can do it.
He's learning good things.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add? Any other ideas that you've come up with to keep your kids engaged, keep yourself on track?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would say the one thing that had worked for me when the kids were little is little chore charts, for the summer, like little sticker charts. They were like super excited to put little stickers, like to keep them busy over the summer. Like before they could do things, they would put little stickers on, making their beds and that kind of thing, which I'm sure most of the moms have heard of here, but just little things to keep them engaged over the summer. So I'd be excited to hear what you guys have for ideas for teenagers. My older kids were super motivated, super diligent. They helped around the house and did all the things. But if you can say a prayer for me for this bonus 13-year-old, or if you have any ideas for me for the summer, I would love to hear your ideas.
And every kid's so different, so it's hard to say, well, this is what you do, because, everyone has different personalities, different strengths, different challenges. So moms, we're loving them where they're at and just doing our best to get through. So again, let us know if you're okay, moms. Comment below. So, all right. Well, we will see you in the next episode. And I hope your summer is kicking off to a great start. And just remember, a couple like parting words, I guess, for the podcast stuff. I just try to remember, I think it's important for me to keep as much of a routine for Henry as possible. And I hear that from other moms as well, even in the summertime, because I think as human beings, we like routine. We all kind of gravitate towards that. It creates safety, and it's helpful to me as a person, running a real estate business. I want to have somewhat of a predictable schedule. So maybe just don't abandon totally your routine this summer, and then get your kids involved. Look for ways. It doesn't have to all weigh on your shoulders as moms. You can ask them to make their meal, age appropriate meals, of course, or to help out around the house. I think that honestly, we should be doing that, because we're kind of doing them a disservice if we're not teaching them how to take care of themselves and how to do basic, have basic life skills. And then the whole financial aspect of it, I keep telling Henry, I want you to have a good relationship with money, because I didn't. And my mom and dad did the best they could with what they knew at the time, but I did not grow up with a really good concept of how to make money, how to keep money, how to save money, how to manage my money, like any of that. And I want different for Henry. So, and then last but not least, the summer is a great opportunity to connect with other people. So whether that be your kids, friends, parents, having barbecues, client events, meeting people at the ball field. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity to connect. So don't forget that. Don't just be a recluse in your house and, don't never go anywhere. Especially if you need to make real estate connections, you kind of have to be involved in the community and kind of have to like people and like being around people too.
Good point. Good point. Time to meet people.
Go meet people. All right, moms. Well, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.